Hi everyone, this is Kiwi Mori, and I'm going to do a customization video documenting my process of making Sitka. And so I actually did a box opening for him. So he's the Hoblods Jorhaal head that I got recently, and right now the first step of course was finding a body. And I didn't really have to look so hard because he kind of stole one from someone else. He's actually on Oleander's body, which is the loongsoul 60-centimeter body, and Oleander is actually getting turned into a girl now, so that's why I switched out the body. And this one actually works really well. So it's because it is a little thick and he has such a round face, I needed something that was gonna like be proportionate to his head without looking like weird, because a lot of 60-centimeter bodies look thin, and this one actually looks like a thicker normal amount. The neck actually works really well. I had already sanded the neck down for Oleander, so this length also works for the Jorhaal head. And also helps that he has this longer piece at the back of his neck, because since I did sand it, there's like this discoloration from the sanding where it's lighter there, and his head like completely covers that. I know Oleander's didn't. So I was like, okay, you kind of really want this body already. You're fighting for it, where you're like, here are my benefits. And so now that I have to wipe off all the blushing I did for Oleander, which is really sad because I was like, I did so nice on the blushing. I was really proud of myself because I was just like, it takes so much effort. I didn't want to do that for every single doll, and I did for Oleander, and now Oleander's gonna be a girl and I have to do that all over again. But so I have to remove the blushing, and this body is actually not too bad, a resin match, because like here's the bottom of the foot, and that's fine with the head, because it was a normal skin pink body from loongsoul, which is way pink, and I dyed it with yellow so it would come out to be a more neutral normal, which is more like what this head is, because this is not yellow or pink tone, it's just like straight up normal. And so it matches really well with this head already, which is going to help because I'm going to dye him tan, and I needed a nice balance that he was already matching his original body, so that I won't have to like mix separate dyes of tan. It's like, oh, this one's more tan yellow and this one's more tan pink, and then somehow they're going to meet in the middle and it's going to work out. I got some tips I've seen from Sea Hedgehog. She does a lot of body dyeing, and so also I suggest definitely go look at those videos because it's really helpful, and I am not experienced enough to be dyeing bodies a whole lot, but I like experimenting to this degree at least. So this will be the second time this body has been dyed when I turn it tan, but at least I'm doing it with the same body instead of ruining a bunch of other bodies. Not that it really ruined it, because as long as you have acetone or other removants, you can get rid of the color and start over again. So I'm going to do the dyeing process and do a little recording of that, and you can see how he turns out. And actually after that, I'm going to send him away for face up after he's officially dyed. He's going to get a face up by Mint Chateau, and it's gonna be a natural looking sort of roughed up look for him, and I'm really excited. I can't wait to have him back already. And then I have to plan out the wig for him. I had someone else in mind, but they're currently busy, so they can't take commission orders for a wig for him, but I may make him my own wig when he comes back, or look for something else while he's away to face up. But hopefully it won't be too long of a process, and I'll go ahead and start showing you what I can do now. All right. Okay guys, this is the setup for my dyeing process. And so I have Sitka. I have cleaned his body of the blushing from the other head it was matched with. And so you can see now that it's a closer match to what his actual head color is compared to the blushing. And then I also have the string and to use to dye in the pot. We have nail polish remover to get rid of the stubborn spots that where the dye takes on really strong. And then of course you need some like junk resin if you want to test the dye to make sure it's the right color before you actually do the main work. And then I do have to clean him now that he has all the brush cleaner solution on him. I need to wash him, and then I need to fill it up to soak after I dye him. But bringing the pot to a boil, then I'll put in the dye and let that dissolve and bring temperature down to a simmer. And then we'll see how this goes. Okay, so I tested my plastic resin, and this is what came out right away. It's a little uneven, and that's just because the dye is not dissolved yet, and it's not a solid brown anywhere really. So I'm gonna have to keep playing with the dye until it gets to a color that I can use. Alright, so I tried dyeing another hand, and so this turned out a little too dark and the pigment was too strong, so I added some yellow and I tried again. And so I got this tone, which is a little lighter, and that's like more of a shade I'm receptive of. And then I can use the nail polish remover to get rid of the spots that I just picked up on it. So I think this is the bath color now that I will be using. Alright, so I'm gonna give it a go. So I've got most of the parts done, and I have the little parts to get through. But I like the color that's coming out. I have to put the head and the torso part back in for just the next shade up. But so basically, you just have to keep shifting the piece in the middle of the water without it touching the top and without it touching the bottom. And keep it in motion because that dye pigment starts to collect. And like I've been doing with other pieces, so it kind of just, it's getting to that point where I may not have to add, may have to add more dye in it because it'll start lightening up the more I use it. But you see the shade is pretty nice. Alright. It's a pretty shade. I mixed in the yellow to the brown, and now it's some more of a middle brown than what I originally had before with the practice hands. Yeah, and this loongsoul does have seam lines, so I can see the seam lines dyed, but at least I know that's not my doing, it's the seam lines on the sculpt. Okay, so dye job is done. There is some little shading differences, but mostly I got it evened out. I can't get rid of singular tiny spots because when I used the nail polish remover, it took away an entire layer of dye, so it was a shade lighter, so I had to end up re-dyeing a section to get it to match again. So I'm going to add body blushing on him and even out the rest of the spots, and because he's supposed to look natural anyway, so I don't really mind too much. I'm just going to make him look like roughed up and adventurous, which is totally his character, so it worked out, and I'm really pleased with the shade. On camera it doesn't look as like golden brown as it looks in person, but he actually looks a little darker than what Inuit would be, but I do like the shade that came out. It's not horrible. I was so worried that it'd be too brown, and it turned out nice. So on to the next step. I'm going to blush him and string him, and then his head is going away for face up. Alright, so I've actually finished the dyeing process now. And so this is what Sitka looks like with the full body strung now. And kind of, so it's not 100% uniform, but it is natural enough where I don't mind it. Considering he's going to be wearing lots of layers anyway, I won't be seeing like too much of the difference from the hip joint and the legs, but I know that just human bodies in general aren't the same shade all the way through, so it's kind of helpful and makes them look more natural anyway. So my next step would be getting him a face up, and then I'll be making his clothes. I'm going to figure out if I'm going to actually make his wig or get someone else to do it, but it's pretty exciting to like see him become who he's supposed to be. But like, so there's a little close-up of the dyeing, and his face, it kind of took on in like spots because he has such in-depth like features, but when you add blushing on that anyway, that's kind of like where the shading goes on your face anyway, so it's like dark around the eyes. So I'm like, that's how dye works. But yeah, so I'm really happy. He looks nice. It's a tad darker than I intended, but it's like, it's still a natural shade that I can be pleased with, because it's not like, oh, well, that's clearly not a color for skin tone that would be believable. But so this one definitely worked out. It's a nice color, so I think I'm gonna keep it for now. Because like once it gets a face up, it'll pull him all together, and I can like fully imagine him. I have in mind of what type of wig I want for him. I just have to like find out which person can best do it, and if not, I'm gonna experiment with that while he's away and see if I can style it how I want. So that's the process of part 1 of Sitka's transformation. So the next video I put up of him will be when he's back from face up, and meanwhile I'll be working on customizing some other ones that I have, because I still have to blush Oleander's girl body now and make some clothes for Oleander and start hunting for bodies for some of my new heads. So it'll be pretty interesting for a while. I'll put up more videos of the different processes I'll be doing. I hope you enjoyed this one and look forward to the next. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.